Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ulfah Raudatul Jannah with three numbers 12020431336. In this video, I want to show my assessment in final test English or Islamic studies subjects. In this video, I want to talk about first is the nature and scope of Islamic jurisprudence or fiqh, and the last I want to talk about Islamic civilization. Okay, first is we want to talk about fiqh. As we know, guys, fiqh in the understanding or interpretation of the scholars of Ahkam verses and Ahkam hadith in detail with the juries and attribute to Islamic law with their understanding. Of course, it is very possible that there may be difference of opinion among the scholars. The difference of opinions of the scholar were influenced by several factors, including first language skills, knowledge or scientific disciplines possessed, and situations and conditions and overall understanding of the Ahkam Hadith. And then in the fiqh as a sense, scholar categories the law of human action, or we can say mukallaf, into 5 categories. The first is obligatory or fardu, means everything that if done will get a reward, while if left out it will result in sin. Second is mandub or sunnah or mustahab, is anything that if done will get a reward, and if done does not have the implication of sins. And the third is ibah and mubah, mean action that do not bring rewards if they are done, are not sinful if they do. And the fourth is karha. Kara is or makruh is something that is reviewed by people who live it, and it is not a sin to live it. And the last is haram. Is something that is reviewed by those who live it and given the sins of those who do it. Fiqh as sense that is expert for detailed argument. In discussion, every legal issue that are always the following elements. The first, the propositions or verses and hadiths which form the legal basis of legal issues. The second is sabab or cause, namely something whose existence is used as a sign of the existence of a law for some things. For example, the reason why it is obligatory to pray is the inclusion of the time to prayer, such as the dawn or the setting of the sun is the reason for the obligatory prayer of dawn and Maghrib. The third is conditions, namely something that depend on the existence of Shara law, and it is outside the law itself. The absence of which result in the absence of law. For example, the condition for prayer is ablution. The prayer is considered not be performed if one does not perform ablution, before ablution is not part of prayer. And the fourth is pillar, namely something that must exist and carrying out legal actions. If they're none, the acts becomes invalid. For example, reading Al-Fatiha is a pillar of prayer. If someone forget or intentional not reading Al-Fatiha, then the prayer is invalid. And the fifth is azima and ruksah. Ruksah. Azima are obligation, with ruksah is a relief from living obligation because there are uzur or obstacles. And the last is legal. Void and facets legitimate means that the action is carried in accordance with the rules, fulfills the condition and pillars. Null and facade mean at edge, which in practice does not fulfill the stipulated condition or does not meet the requirements and pillars. And next, uh, we will talk about Islamic civilization. As we know, guys, Islamic civilization is today and was in the past an amalgam of a wide variety of cultures made up of polities and countries from Africa to Western periphery of the Pacific Ocean and from Central Asia to Sub-Saharan Africa. First, um, before to civilization. The word civilization is translated of the Arabic word, and al-hadara also translates international with culture, whereas the term civilization is used to part and element of culture that are refined and beautiful. According to Al-North Toynbee, the meaning civilization is culture that has reached a higher level of technological development. And civilization has more to do with technical process so that it is reflected in politics, economics, technology. Meanwhile, culture is more reflected in art, literature, religions, and morals. Islamic civilization can be defined into three senses, namely, first is progress and level of intellectual intelligence produced in a period of Islamic rule from the period of the Prophet Muhammad SAW until now. The second is the result achieved by Muslim in various fields such as literature, science, and art. And the last is Islamic power, which plays a role in protecting the Islamic view of the life in various social life. And then in the function of Islamic civilization, while the function of civilization, namely to know the event of a Muslim in the past, like lesson from event in the past, which can later be used as material for consideration in the living life now. And source that can be used evidence about past events are relics in the form of bas relief monument, manuscript, or other authentic evidence, as well as verbal data, which be used by historical writers to obtain knowledge about various things. And about source of the history Islamic civilization, we can take in the Al-Quranul Karim. This is source will last forever in accordance with the word of Allah in Surah Al-Hijr. And the second source is from Al-Hadith. Our third is history, and the last is poetry or lyrics. And an Islamic civilization has the story about Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the 1570 until 1632, and then has the four right guide caliphs, Umayyad dynasty, Abbasia revolt, and Abbasia decline and Mongol invasion, and then other Mamluk Sultanate and Ottoman Empire. That the first I want to tell short about historical Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Muhammad received the first verse of the Quran from Allah from the Jibril by 650. A community of his followers was established in his town of Mecca in present-day Saudi Arabia. In the 1922, Muhammad was forced out of Mecca and began his Hijrah, moving his community of followers to Medina. Also in Saudi Arabia, there he was welcomed by the local followers, purchased a plot of land, but in modest most with a joining apart for him life, and became and the mosque became the original of the Islamic government as Muhammad assumed general political and religious authority. And then the historical about the four rightly guided caliphs. In years 632 until 661. After Muhammad's death, a growing Islamic community was led by the Al-Khulafa al-Rashidun, the four right-guide caliphs, who were all followers and friend Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the third historical about Umayyad dynasty from the 661 until 750. After the murder of Ali, the Umayyad gained control of Islamic for the next several hundred years. The first of the line was Muawiyah. He and his descendants rules for 90 years. The Umayyad ruled when the Arab Muslim conquests of former Byzantine and Sassanid terrorists were taking effect, and Islam emerged and the major religion and culture of the region. And then historical by Abbasid revolt from the 750s until 945. Abbasiyah set forward from the Umayyad in what they revert to as revolution or Dawla. The Abbasid saw the Umayyad as allies Arab dynasty and want to return the Islamic community back to the Rashidun period. And the last is Abbasid. The last And the fourth historical about Abbasid decline in Mongol invasion from the 945 until 1258. The Abbasids were already in trouble and the empire was falling apart, a result of dawling pressure inside pressure from newly independent dynasty in formerly Abbasid terrorists. In the 645, the Abbasid Caliph al-Mustaqfi was deposed by caliphs, and the Seljuk dynasty of Turkish Sunni Muslims ruled the empire from the 1055 until 1194, after which the empire returned to Abbasid control. And next is historical about Namluk Sultans from 1250 until 1517. Next, this family had its root in Ayyubid confederations founded by Saladin. The Mamluk Sultan Qutuz defeated Timur in 1260 and was himself sanctioned by Baybars and first Mamluk leader of the Islamic Empire. And the last historical is Ottoman Empire. We don't know it. From 1517 until 1923. The Ottoman Empire emerged about as a small principality on a former Byzantine territory named after the ruling dynasty. Ottoman Empire grew throughout the next two countries. And the Ottoman Empire began to lose power as the world modern and grew closer. It obviously came to an end with the close of the World War One. Okay, guys, maybe that's all from me. Thank you for attention. And last, I say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.